After decades on the bench, you start to think you've seen it all. Every excuse, every tear, every so-called misunderstanding. Some days, I think I've heard more lies than confessions. But every once in a while, someone walks through that courtroom door and reminds me why I still believe in looking past what's said and into what's meant. It was a rainy Tuesday morning in Providence, the kind that made even time feel slower. I'd already gone through half a dozen cases, parking violations, red light cameras, expired meters. The usual NNA man named Daniel Russo stepped forward. He looked like any other working-class dad. Late 30s, button-down shirt wrinkled at the sleeves, deep lines under his eyes. His daughter sat behind him, maybe 12 or 13, nervously fidgeting with the sleeves of her hoodie. The charge, running a red light at Broad and Elmwood. Camera footage showed the violation clearly. The light was red, the car kept going. Case closed, or so it seemed. I asked, "Mr. Russo, do you admit to the violation?" He nodded quickly. "Yes, Your Honor, it was me." There was no hesitation, no protest, no excuses. I was about to move on to sentencing when the inspector leaned toward me and whispered, "Judge, this might be worth a closer look." So I turned to Daniel again. "Were you in a rush that day?" He hesitated. "Sort of." "Where were you coming from? A clinic for kids?" He said it quietly, like it hurt to say aloud. I looked at the timestamp, 3:42 p.m., middle of the afternoon. "Your daughter with you?" He glanced back at the girl. She stared at her sneakers, refusing to look up. "Yes, sir. We had an appointment. Something didn't feel right. Not in a suspicious way, but in the kind of way that tells you there's a story hiding behind silence. So, I kept going." "Can I ask what kind of appointment?" Daniel sighed, deep, heavy. "My daughter, Lily, she has anxiety, severe. She's been working with a counselor at that clinic for the last 6 months. That day she had a breakthrough. First time she asked to go for ice cream after." He smiled faintly, as if the memory itself brought him strength. "We were laughing. She was smiling in the car for the first time in September. I can't even remember. I got distracted. Missed the light?" He paused. I didn't realize until the flash went off. I asked, "Why didn't you explain that when you got the notice?" That's when something shifted in his eyes. I didn't want Lily to think she caused it. She blamed herself for everything already. I didn't want her to think the one time she let herself be happy, something bad came out of it. He swallowed hard. "So, I told her I was speeding on the way to work. That I'd take care of it. That it was nothing. And that was the moment. That moment where I, Frank Caprio, who've heard 1,000 excuses, just sat in silence. I've had people cry over $25 parking tickets. People curse the system over $85 red lights. But this man, he didn't argue. He didn't beg. He lied to protect his child's fragile moment of joy. A lie. To preserve a smile, not a lie for personal gain. Not to escape punishment, but to shield someone he loved from guilt she didn't deserve. I leaned back, looking at him. "You understand that, technically, that's obstruction, lying about a traffic incident?" He nodded. "I'll take whatever you decide. Just, please don't make her feel responsible. She's in a better place now, and I don't want her going back." Then Lily stood up quietly. She walked to the front of the room and said, softly, "I know the truth now, Dad." We all froze. "I heard you last night on the phone with Grandma. I know you lied, but, thank you." And in that moment, the whole courtroom shifted. Not legally, not procedurally, but humanly. I said, "Lily, your dad didn't lie to hurt anyone. He lied to protect the one person who matters most to him." She nodded. "I know." And then she added, "But I'm stronger now, Dad. You don't have to lie for me anymore." I swear, in all my years behind that bench, that might have been one of the most powerful statements I'd ever heard. Not from a lawyer, not from an officer, but from a 13-year-old girl who decided that day to be brave. I turned to Daniel. "You paid the emotional cost of that ticket before you even walked in here. I'm dismissing the fine." He opened his mouth as if to protest, but then stopped. His eyes welled up. He looked at Lily. She smiled. And it was a real smile, the kind you don't fake. They walked out together. No paperwork, no penalty. Just a father and daughter rebuilding something fragile and real. And as the door closed behind them, I sat for a moment, my gavel still in my hand. Caprio has seen many lies in court, but that one stopped me cold, because some lies come from fear. But the rare ones, they come from love. In a courtroom, we judge actions. But sometimes, we must also honor intentions, especially when they're driven by love.